Alrighty, welcome back to Behind the Leg with Erica rather than Jess today. But that's okay because we love Erica too.
Thanks for having me on for a third time.
I know. Kind of love you.
Oh, bless. Thank you. Every time I always think, nah, that's it for sure. And then I'm always so surprised when you say,
Really?
come back on. Yeah.
You know why I asked you to come back? Do you know why?
No.
I asked you to come back because your podcasts are always so well received. Not saying that Jess and I's podcast is oftentimes, but you're well received. It's not like, hey, where's Jess? You know, people aren't dicks about it. They're
That's so
oh,
sweet.
I like her because she's nice. So I always think to bring you back.
Thank you.
Of course. So today we're gonna kind of talk a little bit about alternative riding. So different things. If you're not into horseback riding and you've been listening to this podcast because you love me, or this might not
Hi,
be.
Mom.
Yeah, exactly. My mom. Hey, Mom. Or hey, friends in Canada that just want to support me. If you're one of those people who don't know anything about horses, if you want to learn a little bit about horses, today might be your day. But if you don't, this might not be the podcast for you. Because I have a feeling this one's going to be really down the rabbit hole of alternative horse ways.
Well, yes. Because, I describe it to people who don't ride horses the different disciplines is the same as the disciplines in dance. So you've got ballet, tap and jazz. So it's the same with horse riding, but in horse riding, each of the disciplines hates everyone else and they think that they're the best, and there's a very clear stereotype between all of these disciplines.
Yeah.
Which makes it a little bit difficult to sort of explore a different way, or,
I'm just fixing it, I'm sorry. I just had to do it. It wasn't even.
It's alright.
Yes, they
And
do. They do.
Everyone's sort of very suspicious of everyone else's ways. If you're interested in something else,
Go.
and you say, say I'm a dressage rider, and people always go, mango, we're talking about important things.
Go somewhere else if you have a problem.
Bye-bye.
She's like, I can't. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so keep going.
So
I'm here for you.
I often, I feel like I have to apologise sometimes when I say I'm a dressage rider, which is a bit of a weird feeling. Because dressage riders are viewed often as snobby and not very. Dressage riders are not nice.
Yeah.
That's their stereotype.
And also the kicky, spurry, whippy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got the eventers, which are nice and
Yeah.
friendly. Yeah. And so I always feel like I have to apologise for saying that I'm a dressage rider, but then at the same time I'm a little bit like that because I have no interest whatsoever in exploring any other method. But so this is where we talk about our alternative stuff, because I've been riding bareback.
Yeah, so when you brought that up to me, I was like, oh, this is a really good idea to bring onto the podcast. Because if any of you guys follow me on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, or yes, I use Twitter, or any of those other platforms, you'll know that I spent 2 weeks without a saddle. And I ride 5 days a week. And I don't just ride my own, but my own was the only one I didn't ride with the saddle.
Yeah.
So, I can ride anywhere between kind of 8 to 15 times a week.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and I'll get on my horse, and I always try and make sure that he's the first one I ride in a day.
Right.
And that way I'm, super switched on, and I know what I'm doing, and I have no, I'm not carrying anything from the horse that I was
The other
riding.
baggage,
Yeah. And, but some days it doesn't work that way. I ride somebody else's horse because they're in a lesson, and I just need to get on or whatever. And then I get on my horse and I go, oh, God, I love you.
Yeah.
And that almost without fail happens because I love my pony. I love riding him, and I think he is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And I love getting on an animal that just goes, yeah, what are we doing? And it's not often as a professional that I get on a horse that goes, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I do the same where I'll be at a competition, but it's slightly different because I used to compete at Cloudy Cross, who's just like my absolute favourite. Like, I love her. But I used to compete against imported horses all the time.
Yeah.
And theoretically, I should think, oh, those horses are amazing. But I never went to a competition and thought, I wish I was riding that. I always thought, you guys, you must be missing something in your life because you're not riding my horse. I always felt that way. Like,
That's so funny.
It's nice to get on a horse and just be like, oh, like.
Yeah, I absolutely love this horse. And it's so funny because right now I have a horse that's in work with me, and she was always for sale. But we only recently, the person who owns this horse, I said to her, you know, there's somebody who's a good fit. I never listed this horse for sale. I never made an ad. I never did anything. I never took any video. Nothing. Because she is so fun.
Oh,
and so I was like, you know what? I'll just keep riding you until you're comfortable and you want to really sell her.
Yeah.
And then I'll get off my bum and do the legwork and sell this horse. And recently she hurt herself. Her name is Giggle.
Yeah.
And so she was out of work for 6 weeks. And I got on her. No lunching, no nothing. You know, got on her after 6 weeks of sitting in a paddock and eating and playing with her little buddies. And she was better than when I got off her.
Oh.
I was like, girl! And she is another horse that you just go, you sit on them, and she goes, what do you want to do? Do you want to go sideways? I got lots of sideways.
Yeah.
Look at me go sideways. You know, and she's just like, I can jump a meter. Don't worry. I am 14 hands. I don't care.
Yeah.
And she's just, and you'll stop for a moment after she does some really great work. And you'll take a breather, even if you're walking or you just, and you'll think that she's going to cough or sneeze or something. And then she stops and she looks at your foot and goes, ooh, and like nickers at you this really deep.
That's so cute.
Like that was great moment. And she does that not only when I'm riding her, but also when I do groundwork. And then she goes, great, that was it. You know?
My horse has started doing that. I'm so sorry. Okay, my horse has started doing that when I get off. I'm not sure what that means. Only one of them.
Yeah.
He's only just started. I'm like, I don't know if that's cute or a bit sad, but I'm going to take it as cute.
Yeah. Well, my
It's
pony
really
knickers
sweet.
every time I go to put his jacket on after the work. He's like, yeah, we're going back out. You know?
Oh, thank God.
But I mean, he also knickers when I go and get him. So I feel like maybe he just really likes his jacket. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that he likes me.
Hi, welcome to Behind the Leg, where we've gone into an existential crisis. Do our horses like us? Probably not!
Probably not. But yeah, so dare I go back to these alternative methods?
Yeah.
So what happened to me is I felt like I was riding my horse wrong.
In the bareback or?
Just as a whole.
Oh, okay. Before this.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, how can I fix this?
Yeah.
I'm doing this wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't getting the relaxation that I should be getting. And I wasn't getting the suppleness that I should be getting. And I know the pony can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm doing this wrong. I need to fix this. So I didn't go get a new coach or get a new bit or, you know, how a lot of people do that kind of stuff. I just went, I need to change my riding. So I'm going to take away my saddle. And then the saddle, like I rode in it a couple of times anyways, and it started slipping forward a little bit. And I was like, oh, it probably doesn't fit. I'll call my saddle fitter. So it was all kind of a perfect storm of, well, you shouldn't use the saddle anyways because it's not, it doesn't fit him. And because I took away the saddle, all I could do was slow, long, low, relaxed.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do any lengthened strides. I couldn't do any collection. I couldn't, because I'm out of here if I'm trying to do any of that stuff. So it was a really good experience for me. I spent an entire week just riding my horse on the buckle, you know. And both of us just went, yeah, you needed to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you needed to learn that you are not controlling me with my face.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was so funny because I was thinking about messaging the owners of the previous owners of the pony that I bought.
Yeah.
To say, like, thank you for letting me learn this lesson.
Yeah.
Because this horse this particular pony has taught me more about riding than I've ever learned in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my experience. I rode bareback for a long time, and now when I'm riding and my instructor tells me to fix my seat, and I try and I try and I try, I throw away my stirrups. And then I ride without stirrups for a little while and find my seat, and then I can pick my stirrups back up because I know that my seat is there,
Yeah.
but it's not always there when I have stirrups.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, man.
That's my biggest problem. T-Rex. I love that T-Rex like. So tell me about your bareback
Well,
situation.
mine's a little bit different because I didn't ride bareback out of like sheer terror. So, so when I don't know whether I've told the listeners, but okay. So I had this horse who we thought we could break in. Ridiculous. And so he was the first horse I broke in, but I don't know how to break in a horse because I've had Clydesdales my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when I got on him, he bucked me off like 6 days in a row.
Cool.
So, like,
Cool.
bareback. And I don't know, it's hard to say whether it was because he was particularly bad or whether I just was not a good rider, so I don't know. But
Usually it's just because, okay, yeah,
I was
continue,
very
go ahead.
inexperienced, so
Yeah.
that's what it was. So.
Oh, yeah.
And because, you know when a horse bucks and you sort of shut it down straight away?
Yeah.
I would just be like, oh, he's bucking. Oh, God. And then I would fall off straight. So there was no...
Yeah.
So, anyway, so after that, I didn't ride him bareback or my other one. They're related. They have the exact same problem.
They buck
Yeah.
just as a whole?
Yeah.
Under saddle as a whole. Okay.
Well, one of them, they both buck when you first get on, and then one of them bucks when I take him out.
Right.
Out.
Out
to-
on adventures.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, I just couldn't sit it, and so I didn't ride bareback for maybe it's been 4 years now,
Right.
and so that was only because I was so scared of them.
Yeah.
But recently my horses have been in what I call the cow paddocks, which are like the paddocks the furthest away because they're in a big group now and they need more food.
Okay.
And I don't want to walk
Right.
the 100 metres to the paddock. And so I was talking to Mum, I said, oh, I should really start to ride them bareback. But I can't because I'm scared they're going to back me off. And
Right.
so turns out they won't.
Yes.
And I think I've done it like twice, it's not a big deal. But then I had a lesson with a really good friend of ours is a horsemanship guy. And I said, oh, I just need some pointers because I want to ride him bareback a little bit and I'm scared I'm hurting him because
Right.
he kept on twitching when I get on. And so we had like a little trot around in the arena with the halter, but
Yeah.
not even tied up. Like literally just the rope, just sort of. And you're just like, theoretically you swing it around the head, but I did
Yeah.
hit him in the face a lot, but he was alright. And
Right.
he was like, and he's always had trouble with lengthening the neck.
Yeah.
He was doing that.
Yes.
Not great, but like in the walk he was.
Yeah.
And also I was turning a lot more with my body because
Yes.
I have such an issue with, I'm very strong with my arms like that.
Yeah.
I've always used my arms for everything. And so, and he was saying, because you don't have the reins, you have to, one, use your body a lot more, and two, let go a little bit of that micromanaging.
Idea of that you're always in
Yeah.
control.
And he was like, he called it sort of cowboy. And so I'm not that interested in the horsemanship stuff. Like, to be honest, I'm just not. But that was really interesting because he did a length and he had a long neck.
Yeah.
And I practiced my sitting trot with this horse he's a warm blood cross and
Yeah.
I've never been able to sit trot to him. I've ridden
Yeah.
him for 5 years. And I did that and I was like, I think I can see the
Value.
benefit,
Yeah.
in sort of taking on other people's or other disciplines and their
Ideas.
ideas, principles,
Yeah.
which has been just not even necessarily from the dressage part, but just for my overcoming that fear of riding bareback,
Yeah.
which I never dressage riders don't ride bareback. Like that's
That was the hugest thing that
Yeah.
I noticed when I went 2 weeks without a saddle.
Yeah.
was people were blown away
Yeah.
that I do dressage and I rode without a saddle.
Yeah, that's just another thing.
And I rode my dressage without a saddle.
Yeah.
Like I didn't just ride for we did hack out a little bit, we did go around the outdoor quite a bit and the indoor, but I mean I practiced following the connection down, picking the connection back up, following the connection down, picking the connection back up, and I practiced all of that, Losglassenheit, the looseness, the suppling, all of that stuff. I practiced that without a saddle.
Yeah.
And I think, like, sometimes just whack yourself right into the table. I think she just smoked your head.
She did.
It's funny because I think of myself a little bit more on the classical end than I do on the, like, typical regular dressage end. And you and I've had this conversation before. And I don't think that, I know that a lot of the classical practices I don't practice. And like you had said to me before, to practice truly classical, you can't use your legs and your hands at the same time. And that idea blows my mind.
I believe that wholeheartedly, but I never do it.
Right.
I think there's the difference between believing and actually doing it. I'm very bad at that, but yeah, I know what you mean.
And you know, it's so funny after hearing you have a conversation with someone about the swing and the walk from left to right or front to back.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I
yeah.
bring that to the table in my lessons now.
Yeah.
I said, feel is subjective, and if you feel it front to back, then that is what you feel, and that is your truth, and ride your truth. But if you feel it left to right, this is how I would ride the left to right, because I feel left to right.
Yeah.
I also teach another practice that is you close your eyes, and you envision your horse underneath you, and they're inside a box or a tunnel in between your hands and your legs. And some people feel it in a tunnel, and some people feel that they're in a box. And I find it more difficult to coach people who feel the box, because I feel the tunnel. And a lot of those things I bring to the table and say, these are the things that I have come across. These are the ways that you can approach all of them. And that's something that I coach very frequently. Another really neat tool that I was given recently when I was working without a saddle in my long and low was envision that there are two headlights on your horse's shoulders. And you need to light up where you're going.
Yeah.
And this is a practice that I think is a little bit more on the classical end of the world, because now you're going, quit mucking with that horse's face, put the shoulders where they need to be.
Yeah.
And once the shoulders are going where they need to go, then everything else just falls into place.
Yeah, that's an interesting classical. Sometimes seems a little bit alternative, but yeah, mainly the idea is if the balance if you change the balance of the horse towards the back without touching the head, then the head will not the head should
Theoretically,
do whatever you want it to do without you having to pull it in.
Yes.
So it leaves the head for you to put it in whatever position you want without it.
Yeah, and a wise woman once told me.
Was it me?
No, it wasn't you.
Okay,
It was
sorry.
actually. I'll tell you who it was later because it's kind of funny. But she said to me during like a lesson, she said, "Where does your horse's head go?" And I just kind of, there's literal crickets going on. My phone won't pick it up, but there's literal crickets. That's what it felt like. I was like,
Yeah.
oh God.
Yeah.
And then I said, I don't know. And she said, wherever you put it.
Yeah.
And I was like, so true. Maybe that's why I'm like 90% to like, you're all right now. I need to let you go. And that, like, being able to accept that fact for a person whose horse tends to do lots of cheeky rokery looking things, and I'm like, please stop, I don't want this, go somewhere else longer and out. It's really hard to accept, like, okay, what do I need to do to make this better? And now I've become obsessed with that idea. And now I'll constantly ask, is his gullet open? Like, to see it open, like, and to look.
Because it's always like,
in my
head, it's always much more open than it really is. And because my horse is probably worse than yours. I never see a pony like that bad, but maybe, I don't know, maybe we're all like worse than.
Yeah, maybe we're all just in our heads. Yeah.
But he literally would canter. He would do it in the paddock with his chin touching his neck.
Yes.
And I'm like, first of all, how do you breathe? Second of all, get out. Like, what do you?
Stop.
And so sometimes I think it's really open, and then my coach will be like, you need to open the gullet. I'm like, oh. Like, oh, sorry. Like, it's always just a tiny bit more closed than I think it.
Nowadays, I think I'm more open than but before my bareback situation, I was always more closed than I thought I was.
So it was really beneficial, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. God, it was. Totally.
So it wasn't just like a week in your training where you're like, oh, just do something fun. It genuinely was very fun.
God, yes. Absolutely. Yeah. That horse, I brought him up to the VEC to have a lesson with Peter. Mm-hmm. And I get lessons with Peter probably every month or two. Mm-hmm. He's lovely. Peter Fisher, not Peter DeCosmo. Mm-hmm. And he made a joke. He was like, who's this pony? I brought him up there, and the first and second and probably, I think I brought him up there 3 times. He was like, oh, Jesus, what's happening? Oh, God. And he was just on his toes and really hot, and he did like a couple of caprioles, full caprioles, like all the way up, legs out the back, and back down, and we proceed. Just because like a light showed up on the ground, or like a dog moved, I was like, all right, this is a lot.
Yeah.
But there's also, at the VEC, there's like an upper deck and then a lower deck, and the lower deck, if people walk on it, it's just like a floating head going past the arena. And the top one is like a metal thing, and it's like ting, 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 and it's a wonderful facility, and I love it there.
Yeah, just like those noises scare them.
Yeah. And I think, the more I bring him there, the better off he is. Yeah. And honestly, it's the best training that I can ever have right next to my doorstep for if I go to a competition that's like that.
Yeah.
There's spectators at some competitions. Maybe one day I will qualify for one of those. but
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm always like, it blows my mind how people go into that Equitana tent and just like, don't die. I don't understand it.
I know.
I don't know.
I know.
Like, what? I don't know.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's what I feel like the VEC does for me.
Yeah.
I can go there.
So it's,
preparing
it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's great. But I went last time, and he was like, a little worried. And I was like, you're long and low. And he's like, I'm still a little worried.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, I don't know. And he like trundled along. Yeah. And he had a couple moments where he's like, oh no, the dog is moving. I go sideways a little. And I'm like, why don't you just do a little bit of like shoulder in, and then you can put your butt at the dog, and then you'll all be fine. Yeah. And he did. He was just so much better and so much more relaxed and so much more supple. So I'm going to do my first competition since I got my saddleback.
Awesome.
I'm going to go up to the VEC and do their dressage day. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to compete on occasion. Like I had said to you, on occasion I go up to the VEC and coach when they require someone to fill in. Mm. And my schedule's available. But I've coached a lot of the people who are going to be at the comp.
Oh.
And I wanted to go into the prelim just to, just cool it, walk, trot, canter, do a couple 20s, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to compete against those people. Yeah. So now I'm only doing one test, and it's the novice C.
Yeah.
So
I did that. My first competition back for like 2 years was last year in December. Exact same thing. And I think I rode really badly, actually, because I felt so much pressure. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And I think I got 4th. which is okay. He was actually incredibly well behaved. I didn't expect it at all. Well, I should start expecting it because he's been pretty good, but he was really well behaved, and he must have just been like, "Why are you riding me like this?" Because I was so nervous about all the clients that I've been teaching or whatever.
Yeah.
Just...
That's a whole new kettle of fish, you know?
And I've actually never, so I used to compete a lot, and I had a very good sort of competing mind, but I never competed once I started coaching, and so that scenario never has never come up, and so hopefully.
I find it, so when I went up to Peter, I wore my competition boots, my competition jaws. I wore all of my whites.
Yeah.
Put him in my competition saddle blanket.
Yeah.
You know, washed him before we went there. Like, he was all squeaky. I didn't plait him up because I didn't have time. But because I didn't have time, we were still in rush mode to get there and do all that stuff. Yeah. And so that still made it, all of those things fell into the categories of competition. So that's the only reason that I felt like it was okay to now come back out.
Yeah.
After fixing myself and teaching myself how to let go properly. And knowing that I wasn't going to get relaxation over the back if I was trying to force it. Yeah. It's
There's no such thing as relaxation through force. I mean, I don't personally know that, but I believe it. I believe can't do it.
I know, and I find it so difficult to try and do that kind of stuff.
And I think because this sort of genuinely letting go, because I don't consider myself a micromanager. Like, you should see my bedroom. It's a mess. But when I'm on the horse, I'm like such an A-type micromanager that it really issue. I don't know. I'm like a completely different person on and off the horse. And I didn't realise really how much it was affecting me. And so riding bareback, when I had this lesson, he was like, well, you don't really have a choice but to go with him because otherwise you'll fall off. And so it's really, I'm trying to, you know, where you sort of point the horse in the direction and you go, if you're going in that direction, that's fine. You know what I mean? Instead of going, do it like this, don't look over here. Even on a trial ride, if my horse looks in a direction, then I'll
bring him back.
Yeah. And so that's why I think I should probably start show jumping again. Because there's like a slight letting go on cross country as well, where you're kind of like...
You know what? So I taught at Cockatoo Pony Club today. And I did the jumping lane. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was really cool.
Super cute. So for any of you who don't know, a jumping lane is just like pretty much like a narrow lane.
Like with fences.
With real fences along the sides and 2 open ends. And I can set up jumps along it at any distance I like. And I can adjust them. But the child is always going to come to me.
Yeah.
I am standing at the end and I'm ready to catch you if I need to, you know. Yeah. And the thing I did before we did the jumping lane, because it can be super fun, but I said to them, you know, we're going to focus on something, and if you guys show me that you're focused, we'll have fun.
Yeah.
And then I had to ask them, do you know your 5 jumping phases?
Oh, yeah.
And none of them knew them. And I had to go, I'm sure that somebody's taught you along the way.
Yeah.
But you enter, your takeoff, your airborne, your land, and you exit. There are 2 phases you control and 3 you do not. And then I had to explain to them the reason why we have to have a straight entry, the reason why we have to calculate our exit effectively. Because if you try and manage your takeoff, your airborne, and your landing, you're just going to betray your horse.
Yeah, which is what I do all the time, and then he knocks jumps all the time because you're pulling on his mouth.
Yeah.
And Will said to me as well, like, as soon as you touch that horse's mouth, his back legs drop.
Yeah.
Because, like, for some reason, the horse can't lift his legs and think about what's happening in his mouth at the same time.
Yes.
And so if you pull back, his legs drop, and then he knocks the jump over. And I'm like, oh, no, I get it. I don't. I do it every lesson. Yeah. There's this, Yeah, so I suppose that
So that's why I put them in the jumping
approach
lane.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, you do your approach. You got a nice straight go, and now you have to drop your reins.
Yeah.
And then they had
that's
to
what
ride
it
without
was.
reins.
Yeah.
Now you can pick up your reins again.
Yeah.
And then it was proven to them
Mm.
that, okay, so the first few times, especially with the smaller ones, you know, some of those kids are only 10.
Yeah.
I let them ride with their reins for the first couple of goes. And I said, which way are you drifting? Like, oh, I'm drifting left, oh, I'm drifting right, or whatever. It's like, sit on your horse. Are you crooked? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then I make them ride with one hand, and then I make them ride with no hands.
Yeah.
As soon as they start riding with one hand, that horse is straight.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing any work anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're just using it to balance their awkward 2-point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I said to them, how did you get your pony so straight through your thing? And then she go, oh, I use my legs. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, it's because you just stop doing. Just let him do.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you got 5 jumps in a row, that horse is going to go the path of least resistance, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Especially if there's a couple cross rails in there, he's going for the middle.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and like, there's a couple horses that I know. Giggle might be one of them, where she would go,
Let's
Let's go.
Do you want me to jump the fence at a right angle?
I think we got to the high part, please.
Yeah.
You know, I had her in a lesson one time. I was teaching a girl, and the girl just tootled off, you know, mentally.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, where'd she go? And then all of a sudden they're trotting a circle, and now they're cantering. I'm like, where's she gone?
Oh.
And now they're going over the jump. And I was like, where? You're still not. Please come back. And then Giggle just took her over the jump. She's like, look at this, we're having fun. And she's cantering around, and now she's got the little Arab tail in the air. I'm like, pull her up.
Do a circle. That's my thing.
Yeah, do a circle.
Do a circle quickly.
But Giggles, she's so dexterous.
Yeah.
She just canter you a little tiny circle.
Yeah. You're like,
You know?
smaller? Smaller?
Yeah, that horse you just have to go, ooh, like the poo squeeze and then the soften.
Sure.
You
We
know?
all know the poo squeeze.
Well, I mean, we're talking about engaging our core and how to
Yeah.
use our core, but when you're talking to anything under the age of 10 about
I
how to use your
understand
core,
that, yeah.
no, I call it the poo squeeze. I got poop. You gotta use those poop muscles.
So funny.
And when you're show jumping, I heard this one today, the lady that was teaching the kids Pilates
Yeah.
brought it out, and she used this analogy for your 2-point position. And I don't know if we have quite enough space for me to demonstrate it here, but you sit on the portaloo and hold the door shut.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why your crest release is a forward thinking hand.
Yeah.
But if you throw your hands away, you're gonna poop on the ceiling. So
Relatable.
yeah, you know, you can't go pooping on the ceiling. And I find that whole idea was really great, and honestly, I think a lot of people thought it came from my head because it's poop related.
Yeah.
But it wasn't from my head. And yeah, I thought, oh man, I'm gonna use that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, even if it's just between coaches of the same discipline, like, horse riders are just so genuinely close-minded,
Yes.
that they don't really want to take advice from anyone else. Doesn't matter if it's even from the same discipline
Mhm.
or if it's from wherever, it doesn't really matter. They're all just a little bit rigid in their sort of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like that all the time. I catch myself doing it. But, like, because everyone has a specific goal and it might be different for everyone, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
But I always think, well, that doesn't fit in my goal. And sometimes that's fair enough, but sometimes it might, I haven't even considered it.
Or you haven't gotten to that place yet.
Yeah. And there's got to be a place where, like, sometimes it just takes a little bit of time for you to realise it, but...
I think it's so funny. It's kind of rare for me to talk about being a sober person. But I think it's come up in a couple podcasts now. But the idealisms that came from that journey for me gave me the ability to build a healthy toolkit when it comes to being an equestrian. because I never look at the differences, I only look at the similarities. And that's something that's taught to us when we're going through and becoming sober people.
Yeah.
Is to help your journey, you have to look at other people's similarities and be able to take what you can from every single person.
Yeah.
And so, like, I had a lesson with someone that I never would normally have a lesson with. I, like, got the opportunity to have a lesson, and it wasn't, you know, it was awesome for me because I don't get to do polls very often, and I just had the time of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being able to just be close to a peer and get a lesson from a peer and still just have just a great time.
Yeah.
And every time she said something to me, I took it and went, I can fit that here in my toolkit, I can fit that there, I can, you know, these, they can go somewhere and I can find them later. And one thing that I took from that lesson that I now find myself using a lot is a Barbie analogy.
Yeah.
I go, do you ever play with Barbies? Have you ever played with Barbies? And they
Yeah.
go, yeah. And I'm like, think of yourself like a Barbie. The top of you bends and the bottom of you turns. I use it on a Ken doll because I do teach a couple of boys. But you need to turn like a Barbie.
Yeah.
You know? And then once the kids start turning like a Barbie, then you can really see, like with me, when you look at me do it, you can see which side's my stiff side.
Yeah.
Like when I go to turn this way, I'm like, and I cannot breathe. I just turn this way, I'm great, and then I go this way, I'm like, and I'm stuck again. And you know, I've made video for some of my clients to say, even the little ones, say like, you watch your shoulders, look at where your shoulders are, and then you can see how stiff you are on the one side.
Yeah.
That's why your pony's having a hard time cantering that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I try and go to every lesson or every interaction I make with another coach and go, cool, I can use the Barbie thing, I can use the Portaloo thing that I got from the Pilates lady, I can, you know, and I can use all of it. And I find that more beneficial for me than looking at the differences.
Well, I think I'm a little bit more in the middle because I actually think it's really beneficial to know what doesn't work as well.
Absolutely.
But you have to be really analytical about it. Like, I remember going to a lesson once and we were working flying changes on my little Clyde Cross, which I never ended up getting. And she said, well, we're just going to canter around until we get them. Which, like, no, is not even a technique. But anyway, so we did. And because she's like, she just gets heavier and heavier and stronger and strong, and like because she'd kick up in the flying changes, and so that got worse. And in the end, like, it was a shocking lesson, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. Instead of being like, oh my god, that was awful. It was actually really useful to go, well, actually, the reason why that doesn't work for her is because she gets heavier the more you canter. It's actually the sort of her being too downhill and too heavy in the hand, which makes the changes worse. And so, like, just figuring out why exactly that didn't work sometimes actually helps me in a different way.
Yes.
So there's that, but
have you ever stopped in the middle of a lesson and gotten off and said thank you for your time and walked away?
No. There's been a few times now that I'm older and more mature that I should have. Yeah. Because occasionally, like, I had a couple of riders say, can I get on your horse? Yeah. And just, like, thrashed her, and
like
she's
rode her like she was stolen.
Yeah, and you actually can't. She's not you can't. Well, she'll go until she dies, but you can't thrash her because she just goes she's already here, and then she just gets like more and more, and then the more you thrash her. And I wish in hindsight that I had said something. Yeah. But I haven't. But now, instead of going to people who I think that might happen to, I'm just very careful about who I go to. So it's a bit of a different thing. And if people say, can I ride your horse, I'm much more comfortable in saying, no. Yeah.
But I mean, you'd have to pick and choose, you know? I've gotten pickier and pickier and pickier about who I put on my horse.
Yeah. So have you gotten off in a lesson?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten off and said thanks.
Yeah.
see ya. But I mean, that was like, there was a lot of, and I think I should just make this really clear for anyone who, the unfortunate part, cross-culturally in Canada, in Germany, in Australia, in, you know, any countries that teach riding lessons in a riding school environment, some riding schools believe that they should shout at you and say terrible things to you.
Yeah.
And belittle you. And I don't believe that's a way to coach. And that's the only reason that I got off in a lesson. But I really want to make it clear for any young girl or boy that's listening to this podcast, if you are in a lesson and you want to cry because that person is saying terrible things to you, do not be afraid to get off your horse and say, thank you for your time, I think I'm done for today.
I have been in that situation, and they've been like, well, you shouldn't let your emotions affect your riding. But the honest truth is that I'm not quite mature enough for that, and so I can't...
It's so funny.
Well, I can sometimes, but like, I'm not quite mature enough to, if I'm feeling, you know, terribly upset, for that not to affect my riding. So there's been times where I probably should have just...
If you are the reason for my distress, I'm getting off.
Yeah, yeah.
If my pony is the reason for my distress, I might have a walk.
Through it. Yeah.
You know? I might, if my personal feelings, if I'm going through shit at home, maybe I need to just have a walk, have a hack out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if I'm having an argument with my horse, have a walk, have a hack out.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're the reason for my distress, I'm getting off.
Yeah.
I'm not having someone shout terrible things at me.
Yeah.
Telling me that I can't ride. Telling me that I ride like I'm disabled. Telling me that I am wrecking my horse. That's a big one. You're wrecking that horse.
Yeah, probably, but
I mean, I don't think it's ever been told to me, but I've seen someone say it to a student, and I was just gobsmacked.
I've sometimes personally thought that, but then that's your job as a coach, I suppose, to help the rider. So
yeah.
I've never said that.
No.
I think probably only 2 riders maybe, but that's not, like, that horse and that rider come to you. It's not your job to pair people with horses.
Beasts,
it's like, this is what you come with, and like, I'm paying you to help me with this horse.
The task I have.
No, I don't think.
Yeah.
Abuse during lessons, I just think is...
I've met some people in riding schools, and like I went to more riding schools outside of Australia than I did in Australia.
Yeah.
But I've been to a few here and quite a few back home, and I found similarities in the sense that people who are burnt out say shit that they shouldn't say.
Yeah.
People who are showing off for the other people around them say things that they shouldn't say. And I think internally, you see that even when you're coaching at a pony club. If there's a coach at a pony club that's trying to show off for you, and you're like, ooh, you're doing the opposite right now, buds.
Yeah.
You know, trying to make sure that kind of approach. My biggest problem is I don't know how to curb it. If I see it happen,
I don't either.
I don't know how to go up to that person and say, I don't know, I think that you might be hurting that person's feelings.
Yeah.
Or I think that you might be being a little bit harsh.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know how to say that to that person.
Yeah,
I've never been able to deal with that kind of confrontation. And I don't believe that I ever will.
Well, a really interesting thing is, so, I don't coach full time. I work in a other job, and and my boss occasionally, I've got really good bosses. When people are under pressure, sometimes things come out of their mouth that's not necessarily PC. And I can forgive it because genuinely they're really good people, and it's not personal, and it's just like we're very under stress a lot of the time.
Yes.
But
time poor and
yeah, and it's not actually that bad, but that sort of behaviour has really started helping me in terms of conflict and like conflict resolution.
Yes.
Because it's like, what do you say when someone says something to you that's inappropriate? Because usually I just wouldn't say anything.
Yes.
Which isn't, and then my mum calls it brooding, where I brood about it, but that doesn't help anyone. That just makes me feel worse.
Yes.
And so you get off in a lesson after someone said something, or even when we did our coaching certificates and I disagreed with the assessor, and instead of talking about it, which I probably wouldn't anyway, then I just brood about it, and then I feel worse, and it's actually the worst way to deal with things, because I've been experiencing this very slight conflict. It's really been helping me, because I think I'm a little bit better prepared for if someone says something to me, or if someone says something to a friend of mine, for me to say, that's inappropriate, like straight away.
Wow.
Which it hasn't occurred yet.
Yeah.
But I do feel much more, because in general I just don't say anything. Like,
And I don't know if I could.
Yeah.
Like, I have a friend, a really close friend, and he's like the least PC person I know. And on occasion he'll say something really inappropriate to me. Not like personally or attacking, just inappropriate to the point where I would go, like, that would never ever come out of my mouth.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not like that. And sometimes I go, dude, really?
Yeah.
And that's as far as I can get so far.
I have a friend who's very good at it. Like,
really?
Yeah. So
maybe we need to bring her on the podcast.
Genuinely, she's not a horse rider, but she's very comfortable at saying, that's really inappropriate. And then just moving on, oh, that's really racist. And so, like, because I also have this thing outside, just in my personal business. I have like a real issue with racism and sexism and what's the other ones? All of those.
Yeah.
All
of the isms.
Homophobia, whatever.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that one's.
But when I encounter it, I don't say anything. And I don't know, I suppose I'm not as passionate about it as I probably should be, but I just don't say anything. But my friend, very quick in saying it. And she doesn't make people feel bad, she just goes, that's really racist. And then people stop talking about it. I'm like, how do you do that?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And, or like, we were out for drinks once and a friend was a little bit drunk and she goes, you need to stop that. And I was like, oh God, okay. Not to me.
That I can do. That I have no problem going, whoa, you want me to carry you home? You know? You know, I have no qualms about
drunk people, totally different story, but I do have a few people in my life who are very
woo! Our set just fell apart. Oh no! It's okay, don't look at it. It shouldn't happen.
The fourth wall has been broken.
It is. It's alright.
And they're very sort of strong, independent women.
Yes.
But sometimes strong, independent women just means
big bitch.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes it's, well, they care about me and they love me and their family, but also sometimes it's okay for you to be like, that's inappropriate. And I find that really hard to do sometimes.
I can't fix it. That's as fixed as she's gonna get, boys.
Yeah, she'll be right.
No, it's not right.
What do you mean we're not in a studio?
Sorry, we record this in like the boot room of my house. It's also smoking hot in here right now. It's so funny because I was just talking a little bit about insecurities.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a topic that you and I can relate on a lot of T-Rex arm situations. But we both have little stumps for arms, and when it comes to riding, you look like a T-Rex.
This is how I ride. This is my profile. I can't put my hands down.
Look at the guns on us, though. Move forward. Look at those guns. It's the gun show. Watch out, you're coming to the gun show. Yeah, but that's, like, this is our build. We're all
This is
top,
my rising
shoulder. Yeah, rising
Yeah.
trot, got this.
Yeah.
And people constantly say to me, soften your shoulders, loosen your shoulder, relax your shoulder, put your shoulders back, all those things. I can't do any of those.
No, I can't. I'm not a dressage rider physique either.
No.
It kills me every day.
This part of my body, when I look at my thigh in a saddle,
It's not us.
I know, I go,
Well, not
"Nah."
you.
Thanks,
I mean me, but
But I feel that way when I look at because I'm also, where my pony lives is just surrounded by other competitors, like heavy competitors. Yeah. And none of them look like me.
I used to work for a guy who was a dressage rider, and his top boots, I'm not kidding you, I was polishing them once, came up to my mid-thigh. I am not joking. And I could only get my arm in. Mid-thigh. Here.
Wow.
Very, very long legs. Like,
That is unreal. I know who that is.
yeah.
I know exactly who that
Extremely
is.
long legs. Like, the most perfect dressage. Like,
Link in the description. No, I'm just kidding.
photo and bio.
Yeah.
But
That'd be
like,
so bad, just like linking people. Oh, I get dragged in the community.
Then when I got my top boots, I genuinely was like, they are very short. Like,
I know.
they're like chaps. It's fine.
Mine are like for little stumps.
Yeah.
These things. This is not a lot of space here. I can hold my own foot.
That's the good thing about
Shh.
short legs.
Yeah.
We'd be great gymnasts.
I know. Strength to weight ratio is off the chain.
Mm-hmm.
But
We're in the wrong sport.
wrong sport. Neither here nor there. So we both have this tiny little body.
We're short coupled. We're like
short-
corgis.
Yeah, we're like corgis. And that makes me really uncomfortable a lot of the time.
Yeah, me too.
It makes me uncomfortable when I ride. I'm at a constant state of going, where the hell do my hands go?
Mm-hmm.
You
Just
know?
can't put them down.
Now
actually
I've
physically-
I've just brought them a little closer to me and brought them down lower.
Because otherwise you're leaning forward.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like...
Yeah.
And I already lean forward, so it's like...
My forward seat, I'm like,
Yeah.
alright, I'm gonna eat your ear.
My stirrup, the top of my stirrup bar touches the bottom of my flat.
Yes, mine as well.
Saddle flat.
Yeah, so my leg,
Yeah.
only below my, I was just about to call that a pastern. My, like, ankle,
Yeah.
1 hand width.
Mm.
This is the part that touches my horse. That's all I got.
And they're supposed to wrap around the horse and you're like...
More leg.
I don't know if you're trying to be funny.
Pick his belly up. With what?
What? My toenail?
Magic? You know what I thought about the other day? I thought about riding my pony with 2 whips.
Oh yeah.
Like,
That would work.
and then doing it under past my
Do
leg.
it.
You
Yeah.
know? And because I saw some of the ladies doing it, I was like, oh. And then I saw some lady on Instagram.
Mhm.
She was riding with 2 dressage whips. And I
Do
was
it.
like, maybe this is for me. But my pony's got a lot of go. It's just,
Yeah.
you know. I love
There's a
how
lot of go,
you
but
got that.
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
I need the suppleness
Sure.
and the over the back.
My horse is like, he's like a big elastic band. Is like the fanciest horse I've ever ridden, and I can't quite ride it. And so,
Like an elastic band that's firm or soft or
no, it's like
can
every
move
time
anywhere.
it's like this.
Oh.
And I can't, like my legs aren't long enough to rise, so I'm just like it's just a weird, and
sprawling.
it's You know when horses, like, sometimes they get scared and they snort and they do that? That's what he's like.
Passage.
Yeah, that's what he's like just in his everyday way. I went out on the roads 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's just do some trot. And he was like, I know what you mean. And he did proper extended trot.
Tilty, uppy, fronty.
Yeah, and I was
going.
like, this is nice, but I couldn't rise to it. It's just like this bouncy sort of...
Like a jelly bean of a beast.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I really like it, but I actually can't physically ride it. I don't have the body type for it.
I want to try it just because I know that you and I would have the same struggles.
And it's weird because he's a really nice horse. I'm just not... Like, I'm just not that good of a rider. And so sitting that...
You're just outclassed.
Yeah.
You feel a little out.
Yeah. And so this is the horse that I did the bareback on.
Yeah.
My coach was like, try a trot. And I literally went,
Really?
I would not be doing that. But we just did a short trot and it was okay.
Yeah.
But
you know what I did at first? Because I was like, I don't want to trot. This horse is going to run away with me.
Yeah.
The more he was on the buckle and long and stretched out, the more I could just meander him into trot.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't ask for the trot.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just like we're just kind of waddling into it.
Yeah.
And then it turned into this like swagger into the trot. Not something you want to train your dressage horse to do, but gave me a heap of confidence. And then I was able to go, okay, we're trotting.
Because now you know what the trot feels like.
Yeah, yeah.
You can ask for it without.
Yeah. I still can't sit any lengthening. Boo!
I've
But
not been able to.
no.
In my dressage tests, I did this like weird hover thing, where like squatting a little bit, and then in my test it would be like, neither rising nor sitting, ? And I'm like, I can't sit it, okay?
We're hovering. We got the hover butt.
I'd literally be like, and then just do my length and trot. It was fine. It worked for me.
That's so priceless.
I can't do it. Can't sit to the trot.
I'm getting better, but I definitely couldn't before.
Yeah.
And the more I do without stirrups, the better it gets.
It's the only thing, movement-wise, apart from flying changes, that's stopping me from going up a level. So I can only do novice because I can't sit to the trot for like too long.
Yeah.
So on my other horse I could, but these ones I can't. So I can do any lateral movement you could possibly want. I just can't sit to it. So I think I'm going to have to start working on that.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of bareback will help that.
Get a bareback pad.
One of those like, I saw a picture of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like a floof.
Yeah.
And when you have the suede on the suede,
Yeah,
it like
it
gives you a
helps a
little
little
bit of
bit.
traction.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
when you ride bareback on a rug, and it's just very comfortable.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know when you ride bareback from the paddock,
Ta-ta.
bareback to the paddock,
Yes.
in a rug.
Oh. Yeah,
Right.
maybe you should. I'm gonna buy one, so maybe you can just borrow it.
Did you borrow? Is that what you
Yeah, I
did?
borrowed, so I gotta buy another one.
Yeah.
I gotta buy one. All right. Well, I hope that podcast was a little wild. We went all over the place.
We didn't really talk about anything, but it's fun.
I'll try and I'll listen to it, I think, again, and then name it according to the topics we covered.
Miscellaneous.
Because I honestly don't know.
That's fun.
But if you're still here and you're enjoying it, you should just,
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom. We love you. All right. Thanks for joining me and coming to the podcast. And we'll see you next time. Bye.